Welcome, my dear Sasquarriors, pine-scented prophets, blurry masses, mossy-minded misfits, and all who wandered in today because somewhere in your soul you heard a sound like a heavy footfall echoing through the trees. Some of you came curious, some of you came tired, some of you came searching for something blurry but real. However you found your way here, welcome. I am Archminister Jake, and this is the Church of Bigfoot. Today, we are here to talk about rhythm. Not the rhythm of pop songs or alarm clocks, but the deeper rhythm, the rhythm of your life. That rhythm is what I call the Sacred Stomp. It is about finding balance in your work, your rest, your laughter, and your sorrow, all keeping time like a good drum beat. It is about lying in step to the earth, leaving footprints that matter, embracing mystery, honoring rest, and stomping together as a community. Let's begin where all stomps begin, with the earth itself. The earth always had rhythm, long before we set up drum kits, long before Spotify, long before our phones told us what playlist to start the morning with. The earth was humming. The river flows in its steady beat, winding and bending like a melody. The wind carries a rhythm, rustling leaves, knocking branches together like percussion. Even silence in the forest is not really silent. It has its own heartbeat if you stand still long enough. I remember the first time I walked deep into the woods where no car noise, no lawnmowers, no buzzing electronics could be heard. At first, I thought it was silent. But then I realized my heartbeat had joined the cicadas. My breath had joined the leaves. My footsteps became percussion on the path. The rhythm of the earth had pulled me into its song. That rhythm is always there, but we forget. We let the alarms, the traffic, the deadlines drown it out. We let phones become our drummers, pinging us to death. The Sacred Stomp calls us back. It says, sync your steps with the earth's rhythm, not just with the calendar. And that brings us to the truth that every stomp leaves a mark. When you walk on a muddy trail, you see your prints left behind. Some are deep, some are shallow, some filling with water. They are proof you were there. In life, it's no different. Every stomp you take leaves a footprint in someone else's path. Words, choices, laughter, anger, they all mark the soil. That's where I want to share with you a story, a parable from our modern wilderness scrolls. From the BFRO, the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. Just this month in August of 2025, a man named Jeff Powers, he was driving across the Canadian River near Tuttle, Oklahoma. Now, Jeff is not the kind of man to get spooked easily. He's 62 years old, a veteran of the Army's 82nd Airborne, a hunter since he was 12, and he drives that road every weekday to work. On this day, as he crossed the bridge, Jeff did what any good Bigfootarian would do. He looked up and down the river. And that's when he saw it. Out in the water was a massive blackened figure walking briskly through the river. Not floundering, not splashing, walking knee-deep like it was a casual morning commute. Jeff noticed something before he even fully registered the figure. He saw the wake, a ripple trailing behind, like the river itself was testifying, something heavy just passed through here. This thing, covered in dark fur, glistening in the sunlight, had a torso wider than a 50-gallon drum. Let me pause right there, friends. If you're built wider than a 50-gallon drum and your morning stroll leaves a wake, you might just be kinfolk to the Sacred Stomper himself. Now, Jeff did what we all would do. He spun his car around, made a loop, raced back for another look. But by the time he returned, the figure had stepped out of the water and into the trees. One stomp, one stride, gone, vanished into the blur, just like that. That's how the Sacred Stomp works. Sometimes you see the figure, sometimes you only see the wake. But either way, you know the stomp was real. And your life is the same. You are leaving wakes behind you, whether you realize it or not. Someone sees the ripples of your kindness, or the ripples of your anger, or the ripples of your courage. Every stomp leaves something for someone else to notice. And then we must talk about dancing with the mystery. Because if Jeff's story tells us anything, it is that mystery never sticks around for a photo shoot. You catch a glimpse, then it's gone. Life is blurry like that. Faith is blurry like that. Bigfoot has been teaching us this for decades. Every video is shaky. Every photo is a little out of focus. Every encounter is fleeting. And yet we know the truth is there. We want clarity. We want everything in HD with subtitles. But often what we get is a mystery, a foggy path, a shape in the distance, a wake in the water. And that's when we learn what faith really is. Faith is not having all the answers. Faith is stomping away. Think about being at a wedding reception when the DJ announces a line dance. Everyone else seems to know where the steps are. You're clapping when you should be kicking, spinning when you should be stomping, 2 beats behind the crowd. But you stay anyway, because the joy is not in getting it perfect. The joy is in the dance. That's faith. Dancing with mystery, even when you don't have the steps memorized. Jeff saw Bigfoot, then he was gone. Mystery doesn't wait. Mystery is there to remind us that not everything can be nailed down. And yet, that blurry glimpse changes everything. That's how life works. You may not get the full picture, but you get enough to keep you moving, to keep you stomping. And now we must pause for the rest between the stomps. Every rhythm needs silence. Every drum beat needs space. Without rest, music is just chaos. Without rest, life is just exhaustion. Yet we live as we can stop forever without stopping. We glorify busyness, worship hustle, and wear burnout like a badge of honor. But the Sacred Stomp says rest. Even Bigfoot rest. That's why we only see him now and then. He's not running around nonstop like us. He's pacing himself, sitting by the river, taking naps under the pines, chewing on mushrooms, staying hidden. We laugh, but there's wisdom there. If Bigfoot can disappear for a while to rest, so can you. Some of you need to hear this. Rest is part of the rhythm. Stopping is not quitting. Pausing is not weakness. The silence between the stomps is holy. That's where you hear your own heart again. That's where your soul catches up with your body. And while we're talking about rest, let's talk about what it really means. Sitting in front of a television for 6 hours, scrolling endlessly on a phone, clicking through website, that's not true rest. That's numbing. That's stomping in place. You're moving, but you're not going anywhere. True rest restores. True rest recharges. It looks like a quiet walk in the woods, a long talk with someone you love, a nap in the shade, time in prayer or meditation, listening to the rhythm of the forest instead of the rhythm of the news cycle. The peace of the forest is not passive. It's active energy. It breathes life back into you. Parents, your children just don't need a roof over their heads either. They need your stomp beside theirs. They need to know that no matter how tired you are, they matter to you. Make it a point that all your kids get time with you, not just the squeaky wheel, not just the one who demands the most. The oldest, the youngest, and yes, the middle child too. Maybe especially the middle child, because you know how it goes. The oldest gets the responsibility, the youngest gets the attention, and the middle sometimes gets lost in the shuffle. Don't let that happen, even when you're exhausted. Acknowledge them sincerely. Look them in the eye and ask how they're doing and mean it. Your stomp with them may be the rhythm that guides their whole life. Spouses and partners, the sacred stomp is not just about surviving the schedules together. It's about stopping long enough to see each other again, to remember why you chose each other, to put down the phones, turn off the noise, and share the rhythm of silence together. And friends are the holy gift. They need more than emojis and quick texts. They need time. They need laughter that shakes the walls, tears that fall on each other's shoulders, presence that cannot be faked. Friendship is where stomps join together and echo beyond what either of you could manage alone. The sacred stomp is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's about stomping slower, stomping intentionally, stomping with presence. Break the routine. Cancel things that don't matter. Take a walk after dinner. Sit around a fire. Go fishing. If you don't catch anything, cool. Drive to the river. Just sit and listen, because those are the footprints that will remain long after the noise is gone. And finally, we must talk about the communal stomp. A single stomp can be powerful, but when stomps join together, when hundreds of feet hit the ground in rhythm, it becomes thunder. It shakes the trees. It rattles the windows. It says, we are here. We are blurry. We are holy, and we are together. The communal stomp is what happens when we stop walking alone. When we drum together, sing together, cry together, laugh together. That is when the stomp becomes sacred. And that, my friends, is what the Church of Bigfoot is about. We are not here to stomp quietly on our own. We are here to stomp in unison, to say that mystery is real, that kindness matters, that rest is holy, that footprints count, that rhythm is life. Together, our stomp can change the world. So let us remember, the sacred stomp is the rhythm of the earth under your feet. It is the footprints you leave behind. It is a dance with mystery you can't fully see. It is the rest between beats, and it is the thunder when we stomp together. I am Archminister Jake, and this is the Church of Bigfoot. Go this week and stomp with purpose. Stomp with laughter. Stomp with kindness. Stomp with sorrow when you must. Stomp with rest when you can. Stomp with your children, your spouse, your family, your friends. And stomp with us together. Because sometimes faith is just putting your foot down and trusting the ground will hold. And may you be big blessed. Amen. Or as we say here,